Yeah. Holy smokes, I'm no joke out the bullpen. Bringing nothing but heat, leave you hanging like clothespins. He's a beast when he goes in, ice cold frozen. The first round draft pick, number one chosen. Drop bombs, explosion, I'm self-promotion. And I keep shit moving like a flanker in motion. I'm the number one spokesman, is my devotion. That I'm dedicated to the rhyme is my own notion. Brown water's the potion, it put hair on your chest. Or you could put one in the air and it'll put you to rest. Sweet dreams, I'm about to fade. I got my mind on my money and I'm dreaming about getting this all paid. Mr. Go-Getter, Mr. Assertive, Mr. Initiative, Mr. Results, man, I'm all about my business, kid. Damn.
Business on a suddenly not so casual Thirsty Thursday. It is Thursday, November 2nd, 2023. The Shark and the Gun, a combination show, knowledge for college and Circa Millions, the show right here live on Sharky Waters Nation, X Twitter. Come on over to YouTube, hang out with us in the chat, drop your plays, engage each other, get it fired up. We're in a great mood. It is November. I love the cool weather, even though I'm in Florida. Guns Picks, what's going on, brother?
You like the cool weather. I'm freezing my nuts off over here in Maryland. I got frost on the ground. I had to go get my scraper out. I had to defrost my car. I mean, it is absolutely insane how the weather changes from one week to the other. But hell, we got Thursday night football, full slate, not only the NFL, but we also got a little bit of college football as well. And we're going to get into that with Troy versus South Alabama. I'm ready to rock. I drank my pre-potion here, the Guns juice. Let's go, baby. Let's do it.
First play, going to get through the college card quickly. We want to talk some pro ball here. I'm hyped for it. South Alabama. We bought them in the unders market in the preview show in the summer. 4-4 on the campaign. Already cashed the 8.5 ticket for those who tailed my number. The Gun on a 7.5. Hoping to cash that tonight. Troy at home, 6-2. 10-6 last year. Probably some more points tonight. Guns, what's going on in this game?
Yeah, I'm hoping to catch that win total under 7.5 here tonight with Troy. And listen, I love Troy tonight in this spot. Listen, Troy is 6-2 straight up, 4-4 ATS this year. But they have a very balanced team, very balanced on the offensive side. They can beat you with the run game with a 4.6 yards per carry overall, 5.4 yards per carry at home. But they also can pass the ball. They put up 8.7 yards per carry, per attempt, ranked 25th in the country in that regard, and 287 yards passing, ranked 22nd in the country in that category as well. Now, when you look at Troy, they have a strong defense. They have one of the top defenses in the country. They hold their opponents to under 300 yards in 6 out of their 8 games this season. Texas State and Kansas State are the only ones that put up over 300 yards against them. They've only allowed 301 yards per game to their opponents overall and 225 yards per game at home this season. They also have a plus 141 net yard average overall, plus 237 net yard average at home. They're playing at home in Troy, in Alabama tonight. Now you got to look at South Alabama. Has a balanced team. They average 454 yards of total offense, holding their opponents to 317 with a plus 137 net yard average. But they put these numbers up against some real low-level teams, in my opinion. We're talking about Southeast Louisiana. You don't know about them because they're in the FCS. UL Monroe and Southern Miss, both all 3 bottom feeder teams. Their only good win this season was against Oklahoma State on the road, but that was in Oklahoma State early in the season. They didn't know who their quarterback was. They were very disorganized and misdirected, but now this team is a little bit different now. So South Alabama took advantage of them on the road. These two teams meet every single season. Troy won the last game 10-6 as 3-point road favorites, and now Troy is favored 6 at home, which is a 9-point swing. Then you have Troy on this one, 5-0 straight up, and ATS versus South Alabama dating back to 2018. So they absolutely just own this team. So I just feel like Troy's in a perfect spot here. The line comparison to last year's number, they have the matchup history favoring Troy, and Troy is the team that plays their best ball at home. So I love Troy. Give me Troy all day long. -6 is the number I got. Go grab it before I hit 7. 2.5 unit special.
Love it. Last week, of course, we tried to buy the over in both of those games. Got there by a hook in the South Alabama game. Troy somehow still went under. Now I believe 0-6 versus the over last 6. Pretty egregious stuff. Our guy Coin in the chat says he's got under 43.5. Best of luck there. I don't really have a comment on this one. I think The over's got to hit at some point. Maybe it will tonight. I don't know. Anyway, let's stay the course with college football here. First official play, collaboration play of this broadcast. We're going down to Lubbock, Texas, Jones AT&T Stadium, and we're buying the Texas Tech Red Raiders at -3 official. And you really start to look at Texas Tech. We bought them 2 weeks ago at BYU. They were horrendous. They were horrendous for one specific reason. They were starting freshman quarterback Jake Strong, who is without question in limited duty a turnover machine. 3 interceptions against Kansas State in one half, 4 last week at BYU, back-to-back losses for Texas Tech, both by margin, both very specific to the quarterback situation. Now, tonight, you get the return of Bayron Morton. This is not Patrick Mahomes, but this is a quarterback who has significant upside versus the freshman. And you really start to look at Texas Tech on this season. They're one continuous walking statistical outlier. The team is 3-5 straight up, 3-5 ATS. However, non-cover in the opener after a weather delay in Wyoming, threw off the entire game after a 14-0 lead, backdoored out of conference against Oregon, who is vying for a national title appearance, theoretically. That was a one-possession game late. That should tell you how good this team actually is when full staffed. At West Virginia in conference, outgained, just couldn't get a touchdown to get there. And then the last 2 games with the freshman quarterback. Go to the other side of this game. TCU is the ultimate level of fool's gold. The gun loves to fade TCU. He faded them all last year, and they made him pay until the playoff game when they got their ass handed to them. And what's been happening this year, more of the same. Outright loss in the opener versus Colorado, who, of course, people quickly fell in love with, and outright losses in conference versus Iowa State and Kansas State. Key point there, both revenge games from the Renaissance Luck Box Heat Check campaign last year for TCU. What is this? Revenge game for Texas Tech. Last year, TCU 34-24 win at home, -7.5. Backdoor cover, like so many of them were last year. 21-7 TCU in the fourth quarter. This flips to 3.5. A lot of public steam on TCU this week. A lot of public steam. Collaboration play with the gun, -3. Guns picks. Talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, this game did start already, so go grab the live line while you can. I still like it. Anything under the 7, really, on this one. I think Texas Tech really gets it done here. But you look at Texas Tech, they're 4-4 straight up, 3-5 on the season. They're coming off a bye, off back-to-back losses to Kansas State and BYU on the road. But you got to understand in the situations on those losses, especially with the BYU loss, they had a guy named Jake Strong in there. Jake Strong really is not the best quarterback. It's the third. He's down the ranks as far as the depth chart is concerned, and he's not ready to play at this high level. But Morton is. So I think he's going to get it done here. Now you got to look at Texas Tech. So with Morton back in this one, they should be a lot more competitive. He has a 57.1 pass completion rate, 8 touchdowns, 2 INTs, which is comparable to the starting quarterback for Texas Tech all season. So I think the rhythm with Texas Tech is going to be solid on this one. And then you got to look at the other side of the spectrum here with TCU. TCU will be going with Josh Hoover as their quarterback in his 3rd game since Chandler Morris went down with the injury, out for the season. While he did perform well versus BYU, he struggled on the road versus Kansas State, only completing 52% of his passes with 0 touchdowns and 1 INT. And he jumped in the middle of that Kansas State game. And really, once he got into that position, the team completely fell apart for TCU. Now, Texas Tech, like I said, off the bye and playing well within the break. When they come off a bye, they excel very well. Their numbers are 7-1 ATS off a bye, dating back to 2020. So that team knows how to prepare off a bye. These teams meet every single season. Last season, TCU won the game 34-24 as 8.5-point home favorites. Now Texas Tech is sitting here favored 3. So there's a big line swing. And granted, TCU is not the same TCU as they were last year. That team was vying for a national championship. Now they're just vying to, maybe even get a bowl game at this point. But I like Texas Tech in this spot. They're coming off back-to-back losses due to losing their quarterback for the most part on this one. Shark alluded to. They perform well off the bye. Like I said, 7-1 ATS, and they have revenge from last year's performance or in that game outcome. Now you got Texas Tech, so you got to be rolling with them here. I love the spot. Give me Texas Tech. I got them at -3, 2 unit special.
Yeah, great stuff there. Take a breath. Let's segue to NFL football. 8:15 p.m. Acrisure Stadium, otherwise known as Heinz Field for those of us who have been following this sport for the last 30 years. Big time stuff here tonight, Guns. I'll throw it to you first. Collaboration official on the home team.
Yeah. We really talked some shit about Pittsburgh last week, and now we're on them. Go figure. This is a week-to-week type of atmosphere here in the NFL, and I'm on Pittsburgh, and I love the spot here. Listen, where's Tennessee coming from? They're coming off a big win versus Atlanta at home, 28-23 plus 33 net yards. They are 3-4 straight up and 4-3 ATS this season. Pittsburgh on the other side lost to Jacksonville at home, minus 116 net yards with a +1 turnover ratio. They are 4-3 straight up and ATS for the season. For Tennessee, they're on the first leg of a back-to-back road trip and with no buys in between. All right, they don't get a bye for a while, so this team is could be relatively gassed here on the short week. They're 3-0 straight up in ATS at home this season, but they're 0-4 straight up and 1-3 ATS away from Nashville, because one of those games was in London, so that's a neutral site game. They have a minus 11 point differential, minus 136 net yard average on the road this season, and they played the teams that they played on the road were New Orleans, ranked 14th in the power rankings, Cleveland ranked 12th, Indianapolis ranked 19th, and Baltimore ranked 2nd. I want to make sure that I talk about the emphasis of the teams that they played, because it's a little bit more comparable to what I'm saying with the statistics on each side's end. Now let's talk about Pittsburgh. They aren't blowing teams away with their home numbers. They're minus 6 point differential, minus 117 net yard average, but they have a +1 turnover ratio average. When the teams they played at home, though, very strong teams in my opinion. We're talking about San Francisco, Cleveland, Baltimore, Jacksonville, all teams that are in the top 10 as far as power rankings are concerned. They're 2-2 straight up in ATS in those games as well. So they're playing to the level of their competition, high tiered competition, whereas Tennessee, not so much. Now, Tennessee will be playing their 4th AFC North team in this spot. They're 1-2 straight up ATS versus the AFC North this season with a minus 3 point differential, minus 66 net yard average. And one of those was a road game versus Cleveland, and they were held to 94 yards of total offense. That was their only road game versus the AFC North. All the rest of them they played at home. Now, Will Levis is starting here, and everybody's Will Levis. He got a chip on his shoulder. He got knocked down in the draft. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. He played Atlanta on the road. Atlanta sucks on the road. They're a terrible team, and I'll get to that in a second. So this will be in his first game. He was 65.5% completion passes and 238 passing yards, 8.2 yards per attempt, 4 touchdowns, 0 INTs versus Atlanta. But I'm not sold on the performance. It was off a bye, so the team was well rested. They were playing an Atlanta team off a divisional win with a last-second field goal. So that team was playing on the highs of highs, the Atlanta Falcons I'm talking about here. And historically, just a bad road team. They're 2-9 straight up on the road dating back to 2022. And that was their first win in a while on the road versus Tampa. But this game, of course, they laid an egg. But Will Levis also played an Atlanta team that is not great at getting to the quarterback. They're not a great pass rushing team. They're ranked 25th in sack rate. And now Will Levis has to face a Pittsburgh defense that is exceptional at getting to the quarterback, ranked 6th as far as sack percentage is concerned. And then you look at Tennessee's O-line. Guess what they love to do? They love to give up sacks. They have a 12.9% sack rate given up to opponents, which is ranked 30th in the NFL. Now, Pitt is getting some key players back. I guess Kenny Pickett's going to be playing in this game. He went out right around halfway into the game last week with a rib injury, and they're also getting a key component to the Pittsburgh defense. Cam Hayward should be playing in this game. He is very vital, not only for the rushing defense, but also the pass rush, because it gives a little bit of leeway there for TJ Watt to get a little bit of one-on-one action instead of getting doubled up. So I think it's going to be exceptional that he's going to be on the defensive side. I don't know how many reps he's going to get. Let's hope he gets a full set on this one. But I think Pittsburgh takes care of business here. They get Cam Hayward back. They get Kenny Pickett back, and they're going against a rookie quarterback in his second start. Now you have film on him. I think this Pittsburgh team is in a very good spot here as a favorite. They're favored for a reason. Give me Pittsburgh here, -2.5, 2-unit special.
Yeah, great analysis. Just jumping off it, I got some more stuff. Let's talk about it. Alignment collaboration play. Pittsburgh Steelers -2.5, 3 now. That is Sharp's team coming back after Kenny Pickett announced in. Of course, you didn't want to back Mitchell Trubisky, but here we are on a Suddenly Not So Casual, Thursday, November 2nd, 2023. And Guns mentioned it, favored at home. Key point, first time all year favored at home. And that should tell you what's going on here. Pittsburgh has very specific pattern recognition. Let's discuss. Pittsburgh is 2-0 ATS and straight up outside of the division on Pacific time zone. Win at the Raiders, win at the Rams. Very similar game. They're 2-0 ATS and straight up at home inside of the division, both as an underdog. Very similar games. Tons of turnovers, outplayed in the game. They're also 0-2 ATS at home and straight up as a short underdog against San Francisco week 1, Jacksonville last week, which is the precise reason why we had Jacksonville last week. We adjust. I lost with Pittsburgh in week 1 against San Francisco. I back Pittsburgh. I adjust. Now I adjust to how books are adjusting, which is the first time all year they are favored at home, and they are 3-0 ATS and straight up off a loss. Now let's talk about Will Levis. Guns mentioned this, and I want to jump off. This is a beautiful, beautiful snapshot to how public opinion can swing so high and so low week to week in football. This man has played one professional football game. One. He played an Atlanta defense on a road back-to-back sequence off a divisional win outside of their division, outside of a dome where they historically underperform. And he shredded them. He should have shredded them. He's a solid enough quarterback. And this is where it gets very, very interesting. And our guy in the chat says, factor in a new QB. This is where I don't think you have to factor in a new QB, because if you look at what Tennessee's done this year, they actually did the exact same thing they've been doing all year with Will Levis. Go back to the Tannehill situation, home games outside of the division as an underdog. Tannehill, week 2, win against the Chargers, 27-24 at +3. Week 4, win against Cincinnati, 27-3 at +3. What did Will Levis do? 28-23 outside the division at +3. The point is, if you forget the jersey number and the touchdown passes, Will Levis did exactly what Ryan Tannehill has been doing all year at home outside of the division. So he's not that big of a difference. And then you go to what this team is doing on the road, as Guns mentioned, 0-4 straight up, road or neutral, 1 in London, 1-3 ATS, the only cover backdoor in week 1 at the Saints. And truly the competitive difference that Will Levis is going to experience tonight is hard to quantify in conversation. He's playing a difficult, opportunistic, physical, fast pass rush team off a loss in a desperate spot at home with one of the most hostile crowds in the NFL. It could not be much more different than last week, and it really checks all the boxes. This is the beauty of sports betting, as Guns mentioned. 1 week you fade a team, the next week you buy them. Had a couple guys in my chat, good dudes, I will say, guys that I would love to hang out with in Pittsburgh and shoot the shit, say, Shark, I'm shocked you backed the Steelers this week. And I said, guys, this is not bias. We don't dislike the Steelers. We are analyzing the spot-specific environments. And this is the top spot in pro ball on this Thursday. Collaboration official, -2.5, -3. 20 minutes in the books. The Shark and the Gun. 2 college plays in motion now. Texas Tech -3. Troy at, is that -6 or +6, Gun?
-6. They're the favorite at home.
-6. 3 top plays, 9 words of lifestyle. Ride the way we're out of the water. We will be back here tomorrow night at 7. Week 10, knowledge for college, an opportunity to dominate. Pleasure as always, Guns. Closing out with some words, and let's go.
Yeah, we're going to be here tomorrow night, 7 p.m. to talk a little bit college football and break down all the games and all the slates on this one. Got an electric card. Love the plays this week. I also have a 3-unit special that I'm going to be bringing to the table this week. So go check that out. And also make sure you check out Saturday mornings with Guns Picks. We're going to bring the crew back, and we're going to be talking everything college football. You bring the plays, and we bring the opinions. That's how it works. And make sure you bring the coffee, the the bacon, egg, and cheese, or whatever you're going to be bringing to the table on that beautiful Saturday morning. But make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We just eclipsed 600 subscribers, so thank you very much for that. And we're just growing, shooting up to the moon. Let's get us to 1K before the end of football season. That is the goal. And of course, all the content is coming out: NBA, college basketball, and everything in between. So join us for that. Thanks for joining us for this version of the Circa Millions / Knowledge for College show. Let's dominate the board. Let's cash some tickets. And as always, let's keep dancing. Bang!